Okay, now I'm going to go over my workflow for exporting 3D rendered images as STL files, which can be used for 3D printing or AR/VR. I mainly use them for 3D printing myself. So I've loaded here, I think a coronary CTA, and on the main view, we have a 3D volume image, a volume rendering image. And it's the volume browse workflow that I activated for this one. It's a generic viewing workflow. It's showing me the ribs and the heart behind it, but really it's again window and level like the other video. And when I talked about what's actually in the data set, if you window and level this out, it's actually all of this that's in the data set. So if I exported this right now as an STL file and 3D printed it, is exactly what it's showing right now, which is a block. So that's no good, even though you can get to certain, digital kind of nice looking appearances. Like if I pick coronary, for example, or aorta, what have you, maybe I can get rid of the bone using the bone removal tool automatically, probably get a reasonable looking heart after this step. Yeah, that's pretty okay. But again, all of this is what's included in the data set. And if I exported this, it will be a block. So essentially when segmenting for STL file export, you need to use the region growing tool. And again, it's covered in another video, but left click to activate that. The manual works really well if it's a gated study, and you can just control shift left click. In this case, I'm gonna pick the LV, and everything that's connected to the LV with contrast will get highlighted, and you can hit select. And now when I window and level out, this is actually all that's in the volume. If you're happy with what you have now, you can go over to 3D setting, and this is the bone that we've automatically excluded its own volume now, but this is the volume that we're interested in. And we'll right click here, export as mesh, say okay. It's modifying the data now to be exportable as STL format. For smoothness, I usually pick 30, and decimate, I just leave it at 100, and you can select your drive or folder where you want to export it. I usually select STL binary, assign the file name, let's call it LV, and hit save. And that will be the STL file. That will also require some mesh editing. I use Mesh Mixer myself to do some mesh editing, mainly to get rid of any errors. There's a nice inspector tool in there where you just click and it will identify tools, and you can just auto repair all of them. And then from there, export that into the slicer software for the specific printer that you have. So there you have it. And that's how you export STL files from TerraRecon.